Let me start with this. Meta buying Manus was not supposed to happen, at least not like this, and definitely not this fast. For months, the narrative around Meta was that they were behind in AI, but still committed to catching up the right way. Open models, long term research, academic credibility. Then suddenly, almost overnight, Meta drops a bombshell. They've acquired Manus. No long teaser, no drawn out regulatory drama, no gradual leaks, just a clean, decisive announcement. That speed tells us something important. This wasn't opportunistic, this was urgent. Something inside Meta wasn't working, and leadership knew they couldn't afford another slow cycle. The reason this matters isn't just the size of the deal, it's what Manus represents. Meta didn't buy a flashy foundation model, they didn't buy a research lab, they bought an execution engine, an AI agent company that actually works in the real world, generates revenue, and replaces human workflows. So today, we're going to unpack what really pushed Meta into this move, why Manus, of all companies, became the target, and why this acquisition might quietly redefine Meta's entire AI strategy. Because this isn't just about catching up to OpenAI or Google. This is about Meta admitting something very uncomfortable. Research alone is no longer enough. When Meta officially announced the acquisition of Manus, the immediate reaction across tech and finance circles was disbelief. Not because Manus wasn't impressive, but because Meta almost never moves this fast at this scale unless something is seriously at stake. This instantly became one of Meta's largest acquisitions ever, trailing only deals like WhatsApp and Scale AI. That alone tells you this wasn't a side bet or an experimental acqui-hire. This was a strategic correction. What really stands out is how quickly the deal closed. Large tech acquisitions usually leak, stall, renegotiate, or get dragged through months of internal debate. This one didn't. That strongly suggests the decision came from the very top, likely with Zuckerberg personally involved, and that the internal alignment was already there. We need this, and we need it now. Markets picked up on that urgency immediately. Analysts weren't just asking, what is Manus? They were asking, what problem inside Meta is so severe that they were willing to move this decisively? Because companies don't spend billions quickly unless the cost of doing nothing is even higher, and in Meta's case, the cost was falling behind in the most important platform shift since mobile. Hi, I'm Sophia, a social media strategist with over 8 years of experience helping brands grow their online presence. Throughout my career, I've led successful campaigns, including one that increased engagement by 45%, earning the Best Social Media Campaign Award in 2021. My work has been featured in leading marketing publications like Marketing Today, and I specialize in content creation, analytics, and influencer collaborations. I'm excited to share my insights with you today. To understand why Meta pulled the trigger, you have to look at what was going wrong internally. Llama 4, which was supposed to reaffirm Meta's leadership in open source AI, simply didn't deliver the momentum they needed. Developers experimented with it and then moved on. At the same time, Meta's once proud FAIR research lab was slowly hollowed out. Key researchers left, morale dropped, and then came the symbolic moment, Yann LeCun's exit. LeCun wasn't just another executive. He represented Meta's belief that deep, patient research would eventually win. His departure marked the end of that era. From that point on, Meta's AI strategy shifted from let's advance the science to we need products that work now. This is a painful transition for any company built on research prestige. It means admitting that having smart people and great papers isn't enough when competitors are shipping tools that replace jobs and generate revenue. The Manus acquisition is Meta's acknowledgement that the AI race is no longer about who has the best model. It's about who can turn intelligence into outcomes. Hi, I'm Sophia, a social media strategist with over 8 years of experience helping brands grow their online presence. Throughout my career, I've led successful campaigns, including one that increased engagement by 45%, earning the Best Social Media Campaign Award in 2021. My work has been featured in leading marketing publications like Marketing Today, and I specialize in content creation, analytics, and influencer collaborations. I'm excited to share my insights with you today. This is where Manus becomes the perfect fit. Manus isn't a foundation model company. They don't compete directly with GPT or Gemini at the model layer. Instead, they focus on something arguably more important: AI agents that actually do things. Manus specializes in execution, writing code, running research pipelines, automating workflows, and coordinating multi-step tasks that would normally require teams of humans. That's where real value lives. From Meta's perspective, this is incredibly strategic. If your base models are good enough but not dominant, the fastest way to stay competitive is to build the best agent layer on top. And Manus already solved that problem. Rather than spend years rebuilding internal agent systems and risk being late again, Meta simply bought a company that had already proven product market fit. This wasn't about innovation, it was about time. Manus gives Meta something they desperately lacked: a shortcut from intelligence to productivity. What makes this even more interesting is Manus's origin story. Founder Xiaohong didn't start out trying to build a world-changing AI platform. He built practical tools, things people could use immediately. Early critics dismissed those products as wrappers, but while others chased abstract breakthroughs, Manus quietly scaled. Those small tools turned into systems. Those systems turned into workflows, and those workflows turned into revenue. Hitting over $100 million in ARR within a year is not luck, it's validation. It means enterprises weren't just experimenting with Manus, they were depending on it. This is exactly the kind of company Meta couldn't easily build internally anymore. Big organizations struggle with fast iteration and ruthless practicality. Manus was built in the opposite environment: speed first, theory second. By acquiring Manus, Meta isn't just buying software, they're importing an execution culture they no longer had. Of course, this deal is not without risk. Integrating a fast-moving, product-driven team into Meta's massive bureaucracy is dangerous. Cultural clashes are inevitable, especially between researchers and execution-focused builders. There's also strategic volatility. Meta has already pivoted from social to metaverse to LLMs to agents. Each pivot costs credibility and internal stability. Manus now sits at the center of that turbulence. If Meta smothers Manus with process, the acquisition fails. If Manus thrives, it could quietly become the backbone of Meta's AI future, powering everything from developer tools to enterprise automation to consumer agents. That's why this deal matters so much. Manus isn't just another acquisition, it's a bet on a different philosophy of AI: less idealism, more impact. And whether Meta wins or loses this bet will tell us something bigger about whether today's tech giants can still adapt when the rules of the game change.